కార్యక్రమాన్ని ప్రారంభించారు. మొదటి రోజు ఎన్టీఆర్ పశు వైద్య కళాశాల ప్రొఫెసర్ మరియు యూనివర్సిటీ అధిపతి అయిన డాక్టర్ ఆర్ వినో గారు స్వాగతోపన్యాసం చేశారు.
This NTR college is a part of Sri Venkateswara Veterinary University, sir. And here mainly we are offering PG and UG. Along with UG, we are offering PG and PhD courses. Apart from this, our university is having about 6 research stations and also one ASC RP unit on piggery at Tirupati. And mostly we are maintaining our native and animal genetic resources at all the research stations. And apart from this, the SOCDAB society was initiated with the main theme of let's not take for granted the food that is available now. We should make use of the available genetic resources to the maximum extent. We should be able to conserve and also propagate for future use. And as a part of it, till to date, SOCDAB has registered about 212 livestock species across India. And of late, it has initiated one program all over India, and it is including with the association of all the states of India with a main aim of zero non-descriptive theme. As a part of that, we were also being included in that scheme, and we have been allotted to survey on 2-3 species. And initially, as a part of this program, we were able to achieve one breed identification, and it was named Macharla, which was recently registered about 2 months back with the help of SOCDAB and also NBAGR. The society is mainly concentrating on empowering such resources by identifying them and also for giving them some popularity for their unique traits. So I wish the society comes up with many new programs like this and also unearth the germplasm that is available in India. Coming back to the annual convention, that is a symposium, we have altogether 5 sessions. And in the first session, usually we are coming only concentrating on the phenotypic characterization. In that, we have got about 6 lead papers and 11 oral presentations and about 39 poster presentations. We had to restrict the oral presentation to the paucity of time, so I request you to kindly excuse us because of the number of restrictions for the oral presentations. And in the technical section too, we are mostly concentrating on the genetic characterization of the different animal genetic resources. And in that we have about 4 lead papers and 11 oral presentations. And the maximum number of poster presentations are available in the technical session 2 with the 53. And in technical session 3, which is mostly on management and also value addition. In this we have about 5 lead papers, 10 oral presentations and about 24 poster presentations. Apart from this, we have one young scientist session, and we have only 2 participants in the young scientist session. And we have a brainstorming session, mostly on animal genetic resources, its status, priorities, and also a way forward. And apart from this, we have also seen that there was a lot of overwhelming response for the abstracts, even after the closure of the last date of receipt. But as the time was not available, we were not able to include all the abstracts which have received after 25th. So kindly excuse us. As far as possible, we have accommodated and included all the abstracts that have been received to us. And I think the research presentations for the next 2 days will be a good opening for giving a way forward for implementation of the different the deliberations which will be helpful for improving the local animal genetic resources, and also it will also give us a route map for conservation for future animal genetic resources.
తర్వాత తమిళనాడు వెటర్నరీ మరియు యానిమల్ సైన్స్ విశ్వవిద్యాలయ మాజీ ఉపకులపతి అయిన డాక్టర్ పి తంగరాజు గారు ప్రసంగించారు.
You know, about 70% of the livestock are owned by 67% of the small and marginal farmers. This is one of the important area where we should support the marginal and the small farmers, those people only maintaining those animals for their livelihood. 76% of the milk is produced by weaker section of the society. This is also another one area we have to look into that and support those people maintaining those animals. 1/5 of the world's livestock population is in India. I think everybody knows about it, but the land area is only 3% of the world. So the pressure on the land by this number of animals is also one of the concern for us to development. So unless otherwise, if you reduce the nondescript animals and maintain the indigenous germplasms for its productivity, then only we will achieve our goals for development in these aspects. India has nearly 57% of the world buffalo population, 16% of the cattle, and 20% of the goat, 5% of the sheep, although the constitutes the land area is 3% of the world. They are one of the area which we have to concentrate, how to reduce the number and increase the per animal productivity. That only will help us in the future scenarios. You know, all the milk production in India is number one, and we have achieved the per capita availability of milk even more than the world average. The world average is 320 grams, but in India we reached about 444 grams of milk availability per persons. That is one of the achievement by our animal scientists in the production of milk throughout the country, as well as distribution of milk in all the nook and corner. In olden days, when I was a student in school, we have to stand in a queue to get milk of 1 cup from a small shop in the villages. Now, in every shop, you can get the milk in a sachet form or in the bottle form. Anywhere you can achieve it. That is the one of the achievement of our animal scientists, especially the Dr. Kurian, who has started the white revolutions, and now today we are standing on that. Though the livestock wealth is abundant, as already Punti pointed out, the total number of animals in our subcontinent is very much abundant, but the per animal productivity is very poor or low. That everybody knows. That has to be improved on an average. On an average, per lactation in India is about 987 kilograms per animal, while if you compare with the world average, it is around 22,038 kilograms per animal productivity. Therefore, there is a lot of gap is there. There comes the animal genetics selection and so many genomic selection, so many other modern technologies, assisted reproductive technologies. All those things has to be handy for us to improve our animal productivity. The major reasons for this poor productivity is, I think many of you know, the large population of non-disc cows competing the feed resources with the good producing animals, chronic shortage of feed and fodders, poor nutritive value of feed and fodders, low reproductive rates, especially in those non-descript and some of the indigenous animals. Then destruction of grazing land. This is another one area. The common property resources is shrinking like anything because many industries are occupying and other public purposes. The lands are taken away by government and other people. That is one area. In olden days, animals are grazing in the village Parambok land. Now it is not at all available in any of the villages. Then competition between animals and human for the food purposes. This is also another one area. We have to look into that. You know, the production system in India, we cannot classify as per the world standards like extensive, semi-intensive and intensive and mixed or integrated farming. The only mostly available is mixed and integrated farming is mostly adopted along with agriculture in our country. Therefore, that area we have to concentrate and support them so that the animal resources will be preserved in the future.
ఇండియన్ అగ్రికల్చర్ అసిస్టెంట్ డైరెక్టర్ జనరల్ అయిన డాక్టర్ G.K. గౌర్ గారు ప్రసంగించారు.
Dear colleagues, we have vast livestock population. And one of the most important issue is the majority of this livestock population is not described to today itself. Though NBAGR started since long, the identification, documentation and characterization of livestock genetic resources. Despite of so many efforts, till today we could describe only 40 to 50% of the entire germplasm. And there is no doubt, colleagues, if we could not characterize the livestock in a particular category, then no policy can be formulated. Even we do not understand what category of the production this animal has. So what to talk about the policies with respect to the nutrition or the breeding. So first utmost requirement of the country, if till today, is the mandate of the NBAGR. Of course they are doing wonderful, undoubtedly. But even the requirement of the day is we all have to be involved in identification, characterization, documentation and conservation of our germplasm, so that we could formulate the proper policies for these groups and ultimately we can set the example of Holstein Friesian. Or in other words, we could also improve. We started crossbreeding since long. We used to teach our students the crossbreeding in India was started during 1875 with the development of a new breed cattle, that is Taylor. And long back, it was the example of Bihar, which is supposed to be one of the weaker state. Of course, we should not say like this, but during that time, the crossbreeding was initiated. Till today, more than 100 varieties have been developed with respect to the pigs as well as the poultry. But no nomenclature could be given till now. It means the characterization was done, the development was done, evaluation was done, but the nomenclature could not be given. Similarly, there are so many populations, the crossbred populations. I must congratulate to NBAGR as well as CIRC, at least they have come up with one crossbred population into it. Terms of breed, that is Frieswald. So now the Frieswald is not the crossbred population, and fortunately this is one of the registered breed of cattle. So similarly, the steps have to be taken for the characterization and evaluation of all the synthetic populations, whether they are related to the poultry or the pigs or the sheep. And ultimately, they have to be converted into a breed group concept. The climate change is one of the most serious concern, as it has been raised by the previous speakers also. The temperature is increasing day by day. Over the last more than 100 years, the temperature has increased more than 1.1 degrees centigrade. And according to so many reports, specifically the Intergovernment Panel of Climate Change, they say that if the temperature is increased by 1.5 degrees centigrade, then probably it is acceptable to the human being as well as the livestock population as a whole. But in case it exceeds more than that, then undoubtedly it is dangerous to the human population as well as the livestock population along with the plant population. At the same time, it is also being realized, it is being reflected. In coming 20 years or in the 2 decades, the rate of increment has been observed in such a way so that we cannot deny the increment in the temperature more than 2 degrees centigrade, or some say it has to be increased by 3 degrees centigrade. So dear colleagues, the acceptable limit seems to be only 1.5 degrees centigrade, and our previous history shows we are going to have the increment of more than 2 degrees centigrade. So what will happen? So one of the important challenge is the climate change, or the livestock population have to be modified according to the climate change.
తరువాత ముఖ్య అతిథి అయినటువంటి శ్రీ ఎం నరేంద్రనాథ్ గారు ప్రసంగించారు.
I had an opportunity where the Minister for Livestock and Dairy Development of Pakistani Punjab is a very good friend of mine. They were see, remember, they are sitting on the wonderful Sahiwal. And these guys want to bring gear from Brazil. I said, don't be fools. You think by bringing Brazilian gear is going to help you surpass what the Sahiwal is? No. Would you be able to give the same pasture situations as in Brazil, in Pakistan? No way. Can you do it in India? You have people telling you that they have better gears and ongols in Brazil. No way. If you see, do a DNA. Why are these fellows coming all the way in spite of the last official import being 1962? Their animals, you do a DNA, they are not pure ongol or pure gear. See, it is 7,000 animals that went to Brazil. And today you're talking about millions. Where did they come from? They used our bulls on their European breeds. So their animal, no matter how it looks, is not fit to enter our boundaries. Please realize that. The reason I opted to come here instead of the ceremony back home is to drive this across. Don't let those guys fool our politicians. Please realize the facts. I did realize that genetics was only 50%. Pedigree is only 50%. The other 50% is what you put through the mouth. So I, with my contacts, brought into the country more than 80 lines of Napier grass from different parts of the world. From Puerto Rico, from Kenya, from Australia. I provided to our fodder people, but unfortunately, I have not seen results. So then 2018, I happened to be in Thailand. And the breeder of Super Napier was a good friend of a veterinarian who assisted me when I was delivering my presentation at the AAAP conference in Bangkok at a seminar on genetic resources sponsored by FAO. That lady happened to go up the ladder. She was number 2. She helped me visit that farm, and I brought back breeder seed of Super Napier from Brazil, from Thailand. And we multiplied it, and now it has caught wildfire all over the country. So what we have done, we have ventured into doing something which no scientist has ventured in the world. We have successfully bred sugarcane with Napier grass. And I'm glad to say we've got some very good progeny. We are doing the preliminary testing, shortlisting, and then we are letting the Buffalo Research Station in near Thadepurgudam do the last field trials. Then registering with the seed release committee, and we will provide them to the farmers. See, the reason why I thought of crossing with cane is after I read an article about Dr. Janaki Ammal back in 30s. She was a breeder at the Sugarcane Breeding Institute, Coimbatore. Back then, I don't know why she did it, she bred cane and maize and produced a progeny. So then we looked at, then I said, I had a cane line that we bred and selected, is producing capable of producing 132 tons per acre. And we multiply that, I provide it to the farmers. Now, I have no farmer producing less than 60 tons per acre. They have quite a number of farmers crossed 70, 75, 76 tons per acre, when the others are producing only 30 tons per acre. We took that line, bred it with the super napier that I got from Thailand. We got some very good progeny, and within the next couple of years, once we've done the trials, we will be providing to the farmers through the veterinary university.
SOCDAB was established in 1998 at ICR and BGR Karnal to create awareness about the indigenous animal genetic resources, to protect them, and also to provide a platform to researchers to discuss their outcomes and decide future research. And I am happy to inform you that the society is fulfilling its objective, and since 2004, the society is organizing its national symposium annually in different parts of the country, from eastern parts of the country, Odisha, to western parts of the Gujarat, from north Gujarat to south Kerala and Tamil Nadu. We are publishing proceedings of this symposium and send them to the all concerned for their implementations. The present shape of the society, we are having more than 1350 life members and a good economical health of the society. So I convey my sincere thanks to all the office bearers of the society for present shape and size and wealth of the society. We are from the NBHR, and society was established in National Bureau of Animal Genetic Resource at Karnal. And the mandate of the NBHR is to characterize, document, register, and conserve all the indigenous animal genetic resources. As you know, animal genetic resources are the important and precious for any country, as they are providing food and food security to the nation. And we are lucky enough that we have all the domestic animal species. Those are providing foods like cattle, buffalo, sheep, goat, yak, mithun. But major problem still is there that in our country we have large livestock, cattle, buffalo, sheep, goat. Presently we are having around 193 million cattle, out of which 142 million around indigenous and 51 million in crossbreds. But still we are having the 52% of the non-described animals. And we have 54 breeds of the cattle. Like in other species also, cattle, buffalo, sheep, goat, we have a good population. But if we look the overall population of the non-described animal genetic resources is still 54%. And in many platforms it was raised that it was still non-described, and main reason is that we had not described that. So our priority and BGR priority is that to describe all the remaining animal genetic resources, and we need help and support for all the state universities and state departments in this.
The society is contributing significantly for the development of policy for characterization, conservation and sustainable management of animal genetic resources of the country. NGR are the important and prestigious of our country. It was released in the country and National Bureau of Animal Genetic Resources was established in year 1984. In the year 1998, SOCDAB was established at the NVGR. Presently, we are more than 1,350 life members of the society. Society has started its Lifetime Achievement Award and Fellowship Awards from the year 2020. The awards are awarding by their significant contribution in the field of animal sciences in general and management of NGR as specific. Two prestigious awards, Dr. D.S. Balan Memorial Award in 2019 and Professor K.N. Sharma Memorial Award in 2018 were initiated by the donations from their family members. We convey our sincere thanks to both the families. For Dr. D.S. Balan Memorial Award and SOCDAB Fellow, separate applications were invited from all the life members of the SOCDAB in animal science discipline in a prescribed format and evaluated by a scorecard by 3 independent judges. Till date, 51 fellowships awarded. Those are think tank of the Society for Planning, Expansion and its activities presented to the management of NGR. Professor K.N. Sharma Memorial Award is given based on the best research paper published on animal production in Society's Journal of Livestock Biodiversity as well as Indian Journal of Animal Sciences. To promote the young researcher, Society is awarding Young Scientist Award to the best researcher less than 35 years of age with a citation and cash prize. From last year, a national quiz competition has been started for students on NGR knowledge. First competition was held in 4 zones and winners of the zones will participate in national quiz, which will be held during the symposium.
ఈ కార్యక్రమం
Status of our animal genetic resources, we are having 193 million cattle, out of which 142 million indigenous and 51.4 million crossbreds. Out of the indigenous animals, we are having 53 breeds of registered breeds of cattle, and recently one synthetic cattle breed, Frieswald, registered on December 5th of 2023. But still we have large proportion of the non-described animals, like in cattle 52%, buffalo 45%, sheep 50%, horse 70%. So our major priority is that to characterize and document the animal genetic resources and register them as a distinct breed if they are suitable.
తదనంతరం ప్రొఫెసర్ శాస్త్రవేత్తలకు
Sustainable livestock farming indicates the safe, nutritious, affordable animal food as well as the products which are environmentally stable as well as the economical viable. But under this climatic change scenario, the expectations are very little, or you can say these facets are not going to be fulfilled the requirement of the human being population as a whole. So what to do under these circumstances? So there is one solution which seems to be very sound, and this can be realized in terms of the climate smart animal production system. And ultimately the targets of this will be to mitigate the impact of climate variability, reduction in greenhouse gas emissions, and ultimately the promotion in the well-being of animals as well as the ecosystem both.
ఈ కార్యక్రమంలో నిర్వహించిన పలు పోటీలో గెలుపొందిన విజేతలకు బహుమతి ప్రదానోత్సవం జరిగింది.
Attend a conference like this on animal genetic and breeding. I used to confess, and today also I wish you excuse me, you youngsters excuse me, or our senior animal breeders. Actually, we are responsible for spoiling our great indigenous resources. The best breeds of dairy in the country were put to crossbreeding in 1972, and though we did a very excellent work, great work, but because that project was not continued, we lost both the existing time-old genetic resources, and we couldn't get an improved breed, a new breed. So now we have realized of late that, what we have actually done to our germplasm. Had they been kept like that and bred conventionally, even conventionally by selective breeding, I think we would have achieved by this time 3,000 liters an average milk yield for all our breeders, indigenous breeds. We spoiled Mongol in that project, we spoiled Gir, and we spoiled Haryana. So now, where are the best recognized breeds? These were the top recognized breeds in cattle. Fortunately, we didn't have any coordinated project on buffalo, so they were saved. Today we are actually claiming or boasting of our best genetic resources in buffaloes in India. So friends, it entails a very, very heavy responsibility on you youngsters to take forward this campaign of revitalizing, recovering the lost glory, and improving the existing livestock genetic resources at least. And I know from the topics of discussion here and from the papers presented here, I am glad that you have covered all aspects of animal productivity. I wanted to share with you the important aspect which was actually mentioned already by Dr. Kishore, the associate dean here. We have actually, we have been the first in world's animal milk production in the world for so many years, but we are nowhere in productivity, per animal productivity. So we have to actually take extra caution in conserving the animals. In that conserving process, let us not harm the productivity. As we were discussing in the morning session, and also I think Kishore also mentioned, let us not take all the gamut of available indigenous resource, indigenous germplasm for conserving, because our country has limited resources. We have to actually prioritize them. That's what we have also recommended in our brainstorming session. We have to prioritize them, improve them, and make available to the toiling farmers. And also, without actually involving the farmer production organizations, we cannot succeed in our efforts in any manner. So, you youngsters try to rope in the progressive farmers all over the country. There are plenty of progressive farmers. You have to take a lead in actually in convincing them that, you take up this animal production as a sole profession. See, till now, animal production is only a part of agriculture production. So unless we delimit or delineate the animal production per se, we cannot achieve rapid progress. And I think for this, in these 2 days, you have been actually exposed to the most senior faculty here, heard their experiences, take their advices sincerely, seriously, and succeed in our profession. I wish you all good luck and progress in our careers.
పశు వైద్య కళాశాల ప్రొఫెసర్ మరియు యూనివర్సిటీ అధిపతి అయినటువంటి డాక్టర్ ఆర్ విను గారు దూరదర్శన్ వారితో ఈ కార్యక్రమం యొక్క ముఖ్య ఉద్దేశాలను తెలియపరిచారు.
భారతదేశం అన్ని ప్రాంతాల నుంచి కూడా సైంటిస్టులు, శాస్త్రవేత్తలు, అట్లాగే అధ్యాపకులు అందరూ వచ్చి ఈ 2 రోజులు కార్యక్రమంలో పాల్గొని వాళ్ళ రీసెర్చ్ అంటే వాళ్ళు చేసిన ప్రయత్నాలు, ఫలితాలు వాటి గురించి ఇక్కడ డిస్కషన్ చేసుకుంటారు. అట్లాగే మెయిన్ దీనికి ఉద్దేశించి ఏంటంటే మన దేశవాళీ పశువుల్ని ఎట్లా మనం వాటిని కనిపెట్టాలి, ఎట్లా వాటిని మనం కాపాడుకోవాలి, ఎట్లా పెంపొందించాలి, అది మెయిన్ కాన్సెప్ట్ ఈ ప్రోగ్రాంకి. సో ఈ ప్రోగ్రాంలో ఏంటంటే మన దేశవాళీ పశువులన్నింటినీ ప్రతి రాష్ట్రంలో వాళ్ళ పశువులు ఉంటాయి. వాళ్ళని ఎట్లా వాటిని పెంచి వాటి యొక్క ఉపయోగాలని తెలియపరిచి వాటి ద్వారా మనం ఎట్లా ఒక రైతు కానీ ఒక కమర్షియల్ ఫార్మర్ కానీ ఎట్లా వాటి ఉపయోగపడతాయో అన్నీ దృష్టిలో పెట్టుకుని వాటికి పెంపొందించే పద్ధతిలో వాళ్ళు చేసిన ప్రయోగాలన్నీ వాళ్ళు ముందుకి తీసుకొస్తారు. ఆ ప్రయోగాలన్నింటినీ ఇక్కడ మీటింగ్లో డిస్కస్ చేసినాక వాటిలో ఉపయోగపడే అన్నీ కూడా ఒక డెలిబరేషన్ ద్వారా అది గవర్నమెంట్ వాళ్ళకి ఐసీఆర్ న్యూఢిల్లీ వాళ్ళకి సంప్రదిస్తారు అనమాట. వాళ్ళకి ఇచ్చినాక వాళ్ళకి ఉపయోగపడే అన్నీ ఇవి కూడా మన గవర్నమెంట్ పాలసీల్లో వాటిని పెట్టి వాటిని మళ్ళీ మన పాలసీ ద్వారా మళ్ళీ రైతులకు ఉపయోగపడేటట్టుగా విడుదల చేస్తారనమాట. సో ఈ కార్యక్రమంలో ఏంటంటే మనకి మొత్తం ఉత్తర భారతదేశం నుంచి కూడా అందరూ శాస్త్రవేత్తలు వస్తడం జరిగింది. మన బెంగాల్ నుంచి, అట్లాగే పంజాబ్ నుంచి, హర్యానా నుంచి, అట్లాగే మన మహారాష్ట్ర రాష్ట్రం, తమిళనాడు, కర్ణాటక, కేరళ అన్ని రాష్ట్రాల నుంచి కూడా శాస్త్రవేత్తలు ఇక్కడ వచ్చున్నారు. దీంట్లో మొత్తం వచ్చి 5 సెషన్లు జరుగుతూ ఉంటాయండి. మొదటి సెషన్లో వచ్చి మన దేశవాళీ పశువులు యొక్క వాటిని గుర్తించే లక్షణాల గురించి ఒక సెషన్లో చెప్తారు. రెండో సెషన్లో వచ్చి వాటిని మన జన్యుపరంగా ఎట్లా వాటిని ఉపయోగపడేటట్టు చేస్తావో అది రెండో సెషన్లో అన్ని డిస్కసింగ్ చేస్తారు. మూడో దాంట్లో వచ్చి ఈ దేశవాళీ పశువుల ద్వారా మనకి వాల్యూ ఎడిషన్, అంటే వాటి ద్వారా మనకి ఉపయోగాలు ఏంటి, అంటే పాలు, పెరుగు ఎట్లా ఉపయోగపడుతుంది, అంటే ఇంకో రకంగా చెప్పాలంటే ఈ A2 మిల్క్ అని మధ్యన బాగా ప్రచారం జరుగుతుంది. వాటిని కూడా ఎట్లా ఉపయోగిస్తారు, వాటి వాల్యూ ఎడిషన్ అనమాట. వాటిని మనం ఈ పశువుల ద్వారా మనం ఎట్లా రైతులు మనకు ఉపయోగపడతాయి, ఈ ప్రొడక్ట్స్, బై ప్రొడక్ట్స్ అనమాట. సో అదొకటి 3వ సెషన్లో జరుగుతుంది. ఇది కాకుండా ఒక యంగ్ సైంటిస్ట్ సెషన్ అని ఉంది. అదేంటంటే 35 లోబడి ఉన్న శాస్త్రవేత్తలని వాళ్ళని ప్రజెంట్ చేసి వాళ్ళని ఉన్నతలని సెలెక్ట్ చేసి వాళ్ళకి ప్రైజ్ ఇవ్వటం జరుగుతుంది. అట్లాగే ఇంకోటి వచ్చేసేమో మనకి మొత్తం ఈ అది సెషన్ 5లో వచ్చేసి బ్రెయిన్ స్టార్మింగ్ సెషన్ అని అంటారండి. దీంట్లో వచ్చేసి ఒక ప్యానల్ ఆఫ్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ సైంటిస్టులు, అంటే శాస్త్రవేత్తలు ఇండియా పరంగా మొత్తం 10 మందిని సెలెక్ట్ చేసి అక్కడ ఈ దేశవాళీ పశువులు ఒక ఉపయోగాలు, వాటి ఒక గొప్పతనాలు, వాటి ఒక లక్షణాలు ఇవన్నిటిని కూడా గుర్తించి వాటిని ఎట్లా మళ్ళీ పెంపొందించుకోవాలి, ఎట్లా వాటిని ఉపయోగించుకోవాలి, ఇవన్నీ కూడా డిస్కషన్ చేసి ఇవన్నీ కలిపి ఒక డెలిబరేషన్లో పెట్టుకుని ఇవన్నీ మళ్ళీ గవర్నమెంట్ వరకు ఇస్తారనమాట. ఈ 2 రోజుల కార్యక్రమంలో జరిగే ఈ 5 సెషన్లో సుమారుగా ఇప్పటికి 170 మంది దాకా రిజిస్టర్ అయ్యి ఉన్నారు. ఇదే కాకుండా మనం ఈ సెషన్లో రైతులను కూడా మన ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ సంబంధించిన కొంతమంది ఈ ప్రాంతానికి సంబంధించిన రైతులు, ఒంగోలును, మన పొంగునూరు ఆవులు పెంచే రైతులను కూడా పిలవటం, కొంతమంది వాళ్ళని పిలిచి వాళ్ళని కూడా కొంచెం చిన్న సన్మాన కార్యక్రమం కూడా పెట్టడం జరిగింది. ఎందుకంటే అటువంటి రైతులని ఎవరైతే వాళ్ళు స్వతహాగా పెంచి వాటిని పోషిస్తున్నారో వాళ్ళని కూడా మనం వాళ్ళని ఎంకరేజ్ చేయాలి. కాబట్టి అది కూడా ఉద్దేశంతో ఆ సొసైటీ వాళ్ళని కూడా పిలిచి కొంచెం సత్కారం చేయడం కూడా జరిగింది. కాబట్టి ఈ ఇంపార్టెంట్ మీటింగ్, సింపోజియం ద్వారా, కాన్ఫరెన్స్ ద్వారా మేము ఏంటంటే మన మెయిన్ ఉద్దేశం ఈ దేశవాళీ పశువులు ఒక ప్రాముఖ్యత, వాటిని పెంపొందించే పద్ధతులు, వాటి వల్ల ఉపయోగాలు, వీటి మీద మొత్తం డిస్కషన్ జరిగి మొత్తం దీనికి ఒక సంబంధించిన ఫైండింగ్స్ అన్ని డెలిబరేషన్స్ ద్వారా గవర్నమెంట్కి రికమెండేషన్స్ ఇవ్వడం జరుగుతుందండి.
मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, नमस्कार। आज फिर एक बार मन की बात के इस कार्यक्रम में आप सबके साथ रूबरू होने का सौभाग्य मिला है।
ప్రధానమంత్రి నరేంద్ర మోదీ తన మనస్సులోని భావాలను దేశ ప్రజలతో పంచుకునే మన్